G'day, have I got a story for you? Check the disclaimer. Season 1, episode 58, Every Reason. This episode was written and narrated by Laura Reily Truth.
I stare at my reflection in the mirror. I'm not sure for how long. I'm disappointed in myself. I shouldn't have done it. I should have thought about something else, done something else, distracted myself, just like she said. But I didn't listen, and now look at me. I suppose it's a good thing that I failed.
Failure is
unacceptable. I do not like failing.
Failure is unacceptable. Failure is unacceptable. Failure is unacceptable. Failure is unacceptable. Failure is unacceptable.
But I'd rather be bandaging my own hand instead of someone else's. It was only a small slip-up. It definitely looked like an accident. I feel her watching as I bandage my burned hand. I think about maybe telling her it was just an accident, but she warned me against it. She knew what I was feeling. It wouldn't help me to try and hide or justify things if I'm really not going to be like that anymore. I hear her voice.
Giving in to those feelings will only make it harder. You've been doing so well for so long, Claude.
I shake my head in shame. The pictures came to mind again, and instead of focusing on something else, I lingered on them. I look at my hand. I don't think anyone knows it wasn't an accident.
You know better,
she says. I feel tears welling up in my eyes. I relished in it. I sputter.
I know,
she says, sounding disappointed. I sit on my bed for a long time, contemplating my actions, trying not to cry. I'm not going to be like that anymore.
Hey, you alright, buddy?
I hear from the doorway. I lift my head and realise I must have been sitting here quite some time. Yeah, she'll be right, mate, I say, as I rise to hurry towards the kitchen. Emil points to my hand.
What happened there?
I shrug. Accident at work, I say, hurrying past him.
Want me to make dinner?
Emil calls to me from his room. Nah, mate, I got it, I yell back.
You may not want to cook with a burn,
she advises, but I did this to myself. I intentionally tried to hurt someone and this is the result. I deserve whatever pain comes. As I sit with multiple manuals and guides strewn across the coffee table, I lean back with my hands behind my head and let my eyes close for a few minutes. I have read and reread these to the point at which I can recite them backwards and forwards. I feel sunlight land on my closed eyelids and I smile. I am confident.
Studying until the wee hours again, I see.
Emil says as he heads to the kitchen to make breakfast. I laugh. Nah, just revising a bit this morning. I stand and stretch before sitting at our dining table to chat with Emil as he's bustling around the kitchen. I try to keep a straight face, but truly I'm struggling. And Emil can apparently read my feelings on my face.
Excited, are you, buddy?
He asks. I grin. I have read everything I can find. I have practiced on many different engines. I have nearly finished repairing and building my own car. I think I've actually got this. Emil puts a plate of food in front of me.
Glad to hear it.
I eat fast, eager to get my day started. My boss is going to be testing me on everything he can think of for the next few days, maybe weeks. I want to make sure I'm ready, show him I know everything. My juice goes down fast. Thanks for brekkie, I say with a nod as I put my dishes in the sink. Emil nods back, still eating his food at a much more regular pace. I collect all the manuals from the coffee table and put them in a stack ready to return. I don't think I'll need these anymore. I know them inside out. I'm a walking car encyclopedia. I pull on my overalls and wash my stubbly face. I haven't moved this fast getting ready since we escaped, but now I'm moving fast because I'm excited, not afraid. The bathroom mirror shows my messy locks sticking up from my tan forehead. I run my fingers through my hair, grinning. Time for a haircut too, I think. I'll head to the barber on my break today. I almost run out of the house and see Emil as he climbs into his car. Really looking like a boy in blue these days, I say, as I give him a hurried, comical salute. Emil grins up at me.
Thanks, mate,
He says, as he tips his hat and backs out of the drive. We have both come so far. I never would have thought this is where we would be in less than a year. So close to achieving our goals and becoming the people we are meant to be. I check over my old car, ensuring everything is ready for the new owner. I wonder how fast I would have to drive to cause the most damage without causing death. Pictures rotate in my mind. Memories and imaginings. I could hear them scream. Maybe watch as they writhe in pain. I wonder if I could drive fast enough to rip them apart, or
Is your car all done now?
Bree interrupts my thoughts. I close my eyes and shake my head, then gesture to my car. I think she's done. What you think? I step back, admiring my Mustang with a smile. Looking good, I hear her say. I chuckle a little. I have put in all the work and she is a beaut. Now I have to see if my boss is still willing to put in a good word for me. I think I'm ready.
When is the other car being picked up?
She asks. Couple of hours, I respond. Pete comes out of his house to sit on his porch as he so often does.
Finally done, are you?
He says, leaning over the edge of his railing.
Looks like all your effort was worth it. She's a fine-looking machine if I ever saw one.
You reckon? I ask, enjoying the praise of someone who knows a bit about cars.
You betcha. Good work, son.
He smiles as he reclines on his seat packing his pipe. Thinking I'll be taking her for a spin. I have some time to spare. I tip my hat in his direction before climbing into the driver's seat. Turning her over and hearing her purr after all my hard work brings a smile to my face. I hear Pete as I back out.
Drive safe now, son.
I give him a quick wink and call out, "No worries, mate," as he disappears from view. I drive towards the deserted long stretch of road leading away from town, taking note of the time. I don't want to return too late for the sale. I turn and speed up at a steady pace. I want to see what she can do.
Nice to see you enjoying yourself,
I hear beside me. Nice to be enjoying myself, I reply. I increase speed, intentionally weaving. This is the best feeling ever. I hear myself laughing, melodically. Not the kind of laugh I expect to hear coming from me, but I like it. It's my new laugh. As I continue driving, those pictures return to my mind. I wonder if I could drive fast enough to rip them apart, or even burn them with the friction. I wonder if I could hit them hard enough or fast enough that they would fly up into the air before...
Claude.
I hear my laugh again, but it has changed. Back to a sound that I do not ever want to hear. I gulp as she continues.
Is it time to head back yet? Don't lose track of time.
I slow down and find a place to turn around. Why does this happen? Just when I think I'm fine, pictures and thoughts come to my mind again and again. Things I don't want to remember, things I don't want to imagine. I try to focus on the good things, I say out loud.
I know.
She says.
It isn't something you can overcome easily or quickly. This is programming and years of habit that you are trying to break.
I know it's not easy, but it's like I can't relax for even a moment, I say in both frustration and regret. She says,
This isn't something you can just decide to change and then ignore. This is something that you will likely have to be vigilant with throughout your life, checking yourself, actively counteracting the urges and the feelings you experience. At least until your first reaction and habit have changed to who you choose to be.
I've heard this before. She reminds me every time I complain. I don't want to have to actively pay attention to myself. I just want to relax like everyone else. You know? It's not fair. She says the same thing she always says.
We all make decisions about the person we choose to be, and we should all be watching ourselves to make sure we meet the standard we set. I am not saying you can't relax, Claude. You, like everyone, just need to choose the right time to relax and the right time to watch yourself.
No. I roll my eyes and huff. I know all of that. I can feel her jovial smile as she whispers.
Then why are we having this conversation?
I smile back, then ask concerned. What if I never have a new habit? What if my first reaction will always be these pictures, these feelings, these urges? What if it never goes away? She sighs.
Then you will be watching and you will choose who you want to be. You will act in accordance with your own standards and not the urges, not the habit.
I breathe out deeply, contemplating my life.
You can do this, Claude,
She says, sounding very confident.
You absolutely can.
I nod my head, though I'm not sure I believe her. We pull up in the drive and I check my watch. A few minutes early. I climb out and smile. She drives like a dream.
No surprise to me.
I hear from Pete's porch.
You've put your sweat and tears into that machine.
I give Pete a nod and a smile, just as the buyer pulls up. Night driving is really peaceful. There's no traffic and it's so quiet. It's nice to be alone with my thoughts. Well, most of the time. I look at the stars twinkling, and I am so grateful I'm able to see them after such a long time being locked away. Frankly, I'm grateful I can go anywhere. I have to wait all weekend before I'll find out if my boss has been successful. I really want this job. I have worked really hard for it. I'm on tenterhooks and just want to know. But I have to be patient. I don't think patience comes naturally to me. I had to learn it when I was in the facility, and now, at least, it is helpful in this moment. I may not want to wait, but I can. I see a figure on the roadside in the distance. Is that a person? Pictures flood my mind. No one would see. No one would know. I could get away with anything.
Claude!
I feel myself speeding up. I wonder if it's a man or a woman.
Claude!
Bree, I say out loud. They're all by themselves.
Slow down!
She says. Slow down? Is that all you can say? Slow down? I say, frustrated, my eyes glued to the shadowy figure in the distance.
This isn't worth it, Claude. This is not how you want to be anymore. Make the choice.
I feel tears streaming down my face. She's right. I tear my sight away from the figure and turn down the street much too fast. My car is swerving across oncoming lanes. It's a good thing I am alone on the road.
You need to stop the car, Claude.
I hear the sirens and look around frantically for the lights. They are behind me. I narrowly miss a fence. A mailbox, a pillar. I've lost control.
Brake, Claude!
I hear Bree and slam down on the brakes. I'm gasping between tears, trying to catch my breath, completely disoriented. What is wrong with me? I turn my head to see a light shining in my face through the window. I hear a voice.
You all right, buddy?
The light turns to the road and I see Emil looking down at me with a very concerned expression, torch in hand. I hear his partner asking if I've been drinking. I shake my head, wiping tears from my face. Not a drop, I say.
Got your licence on you, Claude?
I nod and hand him the licence that I pulled out of the envelope almost a year before. I'm so embarrassed and afraid that anyone who looks at me will know exactly what I am thinking. As he hands my licence to his partner, Emil explains.
I'm really sorry, bud, but after that driving, I'm going to have to test you. Can you step out of the car, please?
I lower my head in regret and unfasten my seatbelt, relinquishing hope of evading consequences.
I'm going to check your eyes. Please keep your head still and follow the pen with your eyes only. Do you understand?
I slowly nod my head and focus on the pen, following Emil's instructions. I see a small smile on Emil's face. I must have done well with that one, I suppose. That isn't surprising, since I really haven't had anything to drink. Emil slips his pen back into his breast pocket and explains.
I need you to walk along this line for me.
He gestures to the painted line on the road.
Heel to toe, 10 steps. Keep your arms down at your sides. Turn, and then another 10. Do you understand?
I nod again, but I can tell Emil thinks I will pass this test just fine. I'm not sure if that is a good or bad thing at this stage. Would it be better if I was drunk? How am I meant to explain what happened? I walk the line easily in both directions and hear Emil's partner comment. Well, not intoxicated.
Is there any reason you were speeding like that?
Emil asks.
You were about 50 kilometres over the limit.
I shrug my shoulders and say, I don't have a reason.
There wasn't an emergency or something?
Emil asks. I shake my head, looking at the ground. He has every reason to not trust me now.
Well, looks like you'll be leaving your car here, Claude. Your licence will be temporarily suspended and I'll have to issue you with a fine. It's a good thing no one else was on the road or this situation would be much worse.
I cannot believe this. A suspended licence. Who ever heard of a motorsport mechanic who can't drive? And I have to abandon my car here. I'll never get that job now. All that work, for what? As though she knows exactly how I'm feeling.
It's just a small setback,
she says. I nod, but it feels like a huge setback to me. Emil writes up the fine, and his partner agrees that they can drop me home after all this. On the drive back, Emil hesitantly offers to pick up my car for me later. I have never let someone else drive her. What choice do I have now? Sure, thanks, I say, unsuccessfully trying to sound normal. Maybe I shouldn't have a car. Maybe I shouldn't be driving at all. What is the point of all this? What am I even doing? I stroll around the house and take in my surroundings. All the things I'm leaving behind. In the doorway of my room, I pause, imagining what the room will look like empty. I'm sure Emil will find a use for it, I say.
I'm sure he will,
she responds.
Might need a bit of time before he does, though.
It's going to be odd, I say. I'm used to him. I can hear the smile in her voice.
He's used to you too.
I just can't stay here anymore. I've ruined my reputation. I've ruined my life. I've failed.
Failure is unacceptable. Failure is unacceptable. Failure is unacceptable. Failure is unacceptable.
I need to start fresh,
Failure is
I say,
unacceptable.
partially trying to convince myself.
I know you aren't going to change your mind, Claude, but Emil is the only real friend you have here. You should at least say goodbye.
I consider for a moment before shaking my head. Nah, it's better if I just go. I'm a burden to him, the crim in the house of a cop. His reputation hangs by a thread because of me, the drunkard who can't control his temper. He has every reason to kick me out. I'm just beating him to it. She looks at me with an expression that says,
You couldn't be more wrong.
but she doesn't argue with me, though she has every reason to. I know she isn't happy with this choice, or any of the choices I've made recently. After I made one mistake, I lost all drive, all meaning. One more offence and I'll be locked up, for a long time. I carry my last items out to the car. It'll be nice to have a long drive after so long without. I lock up the house for the final time and slip my key into the mailbox. I close my eyes and take a deep breath. This is it. I look over at Pete's porch, but he's not there. I'm not sure if I was hoping he would be there or not. Probably for the best though. I don't know what I would say.
I think he will miss you too,
she says. I think I agree with her. We had become accustomed to gas bagging most mornings before work, when I was working. He's also one of the few who doesn't seem to judge me. I climb in behind the wheel and turn her over. She purrs to life. Time to go. I look in the rear view as I drive away from Emil's house. I see Pete taking a seat on his porch, and my eyes well up. I'm getting so emotional these days. I'm not going to be like that anymore.
Are you all right, Claude?
She asks, in a confused tone. I keep my eyes on the road ahead and say in the most unemotional voice I can muster, never better.
Thank you so much for joining us for a cuppa. We appreciate your company.